All right, sixth grade, chapter 25. So they've got the plan together. They're going to go to this conference for adopted children, and they're going to see if they can connect with some of the kids on the list. The next few weeks seemed to crawl by. Neither Chip nor Jonah got any more mysterious letters. Neither they nor Catherine saw anyone else appear out of nowhere or disappear into thin air. In fact, if it weren't for the butterflies that seemed to multiply in Jonah's stomach as October 28 approached, Jonah almost could have believed that his life had gone back to normal. He took another social studies test about Mesopotamia and Babylon this time. He attended an informational meeting to find out about the seventh grade basketball tryouts. He went on a Boy Scout camp where it rained all weekend and two kids came down with bronchitis and coughed all night long until the scout leader gave in and called their parents at 5 a.m. Catherine and Chip stayed obsessed. I figured out why you and Chip were adopted in different states, Catherine announced one night as Jonah was brushing his teeth. Why, Jonah said, through a mouthful of crust. Think about it, Catherine said, loitering outside the bathroom. She spoke in a low voice, as if she were afraid that Mom and Dad might hear her from downstairs. There were 36 babies. If Mr. Reardon had dumped all of you on one adoption agency, or even several adoption agencies, all in the same city, there would have been a lot of talk. But you send one baby to Michigan, one or two to Chicago, one or two to Indianapolis, and that's not so noticeable. There could be that many abandoned babies in each city at once. Jonah spit into the sink, bending low so he couldn't see how the word abandoned stabbed him. Excuse me, I'm going to try that again. Jonah spit into the sink, bending low so she couldn't see how the word abandoned stabbed at him. I wasn't abandoned, he reminded himself. I was sent on a plane. But was that better or worse than being abandoned? So do you think Mr. Reardon knows why we're all being gathered together again? He asked, mostly to distract himself from his own thoughts. Is he doing the gathering? Is JB? Is E? Mr. Reardon had all the kids' new addresses in Liston and Clarksville and Upper Tyson. Excuse me. Was he the one who wanted to force poor Daniela McCarthy to live on Robin's Egg Lane? I don't know, Catherine said, fiddling with a strand of her hair. I'm not even sure Mr. Reardon knew about the survivors list. It was on his desk, Jonah said. But JB put it there, Catherine said, not Mr. Reardon. Maybe he was just worried about seeing the witness list. Jonah jerked his toothbrush back and forth across his teeth with unusual force. He spit again. Catherine, it's all a big mystery, okay? He said. Maybe we'll never find out all the answers. Or maybe we should figure out as much as we can now so all the final pieces will fall into place at the conference, Catherine retorted. Jonah frowned at Catherine's reflection in the bathroom mirror. The concentration in her gaze made her look like Sherlock Holmes about to solve his biggest case. Meanwhile, the toothpaste on his lips made it look like he was foaming at the mouth. Who's the crazy one, Jonah wondered, her or me? For his part, Chip kept finding excuses to ride past 1873 Robin's Egg Lane. The house there stayed closed up and empty. Chip also tried talking his parents into attending the conference. Embarrassingly, Jonah heard one of his attempts. Because Jonah had just stepped into the Winstons' front porch, ready to ring the doorbell and ask Chip over to play basketball. For the last time, no, a man's voice shouted from inside the house. I've got a golf date that morning, and your mother's got a spa appointment. We don't have 6 hours to waste on some namby-pamby, touchy-feely types who are just going to try to make us feel guilty for not being perfect parents. Nope, subject closed. Jonah stabbed the doorbell. You can go with us, he told Chip as soon as the door opened. He opened the door. I'll make my parents take you. Chip just nodded. October 28 dawned, clear and crisp, the perfect autumn day. Jonah woke up earlier than he usually did on a Saturday, probably because Catherine was already up and banging around in the bathroom. He heard her turning the water on and off, switching the fan from low to high, jerking her towel off the towel rack in a way that rattled the rack against the tile of the wall. He stumbled out into the hall. Today's the day, Catherine announced brightly as she dodged him back to head back to her room, her hair wrapped in a towel. Let's go, team. Jonah muttered under his breath, because the tone of Catherine's word made them sound like they should be accompanied by cartwheels and splits and arms thrown victoriously up in the air. Ah, geez, he whispered, leaning against the bathroom sink. She really is a cheerleader. And it seemed suddenly that this was true, not because she was an airhead or a hottie or a non-jock, but because she could throw herself so wholeheartedly into someone else's cause, because she could care so much and try so hard from the sidelines. How could he understand so much about his sister's identity and so little about his own? 3 hours later, the whole family, plus Chip, were all loaded into the minivan, headed toward Clarksville Valley High School. The weather is so nice. It looks like they'll be able to do some of your sessions outdoors, Mom said, turning around to talk to Catherine in the middle seat and Jonah and Chip in the far back. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the hike and outdoor confidence building exercises, Catherine said. A baffled look spread over Mom's face once again. Catherine, those teen sessions really aren't intended for the siblings of adoptees, she said. It's not too late to turn around and drop you off at home or at at a friend's house, so you're not, a distraction for Jonah and Chip. Catherine turned around and raised her eyebrow at Jonah as if to say, "You have to deal with this one." "She won't be a distraction, Mom," Jonah said. "Chip and I want her along. Right, Chip?" "That's right, Mrs. Skidmore," Chip said. Mom still looked skeptical, as if she knew something was going on, but she turned around and began reading Dad the directions for getting to the school. Jonah had never been to Clarksville Valley High School. It was a huge new building backing up to Nature Preserve on the very edge of the city. The street leading up to the school was lined with new subdivisions, with houses in various states of completion. Dad whistled. "These neighborhoods are so new you can almost smell the paint drying, can't you?" he said. "Nice houses, huh?" "We're not moving," Jonah shouted up from the back seat. Both his parents stared back at him. "Who said anything about moving?" Mom asked. "Never mind," Jonah muttered. "Act normal," he reminded himself. They parked close to the front door of the school and joined a line of parents and kids waiting to register at the table in the lobby. "What did you do, adopt triplets?" the woman in front of them asked when she glanced back. Catherine glowed at the suggestion that she might be the same age as Jonah and Chip. "Oh, no," Mom said, sounding a little reluctant to explain. This is our son Jonah, his friend Chip, whose parents couldn't come today, and our daughter Catherine, who's not adopted but wanted to be here to support her brother." "Well, isn't that nice?" the woman said. "Mom, can we go sit down while you're registering?" Jonah asked, because he didn't want to hear any more about this conversation. And he could see people already filing into the auditorium. If they could just scout out some of the other kids, see if any of them were the ones named on the survivors list, then they'd have an advantage when they broke up into groups later. "Okay," Mom said. "Wait, you should go get name tags first," the woman in front of them said. "Here." She passed back a stack of blank name tags and markers. Jonah's hand shook as he carefully wrote his name, Jonah Skidmore. His name had never looked so strange to him before, so alien, as if it didn't really belong to him. What if I really am supposed to have some other identity? He wondered. The identity of a boy who's missing or from the future. Would I want to know that or not? "Hurry up," Catherine muttered beside him, jabbing her elbow into his side. "We're going to run out of time." Jonah put the cap back on the marker, peeled the backing off the name tag, and slapped it on his chest. "I'm ready," he said, though he didn't feel ready. The three of them drifted through the crowd, peering at others' kids' name tags. Sam Bentry, nope. Allison Myers, nope. Dalton Sullivan, oh, there was a Dalton on the list, but the last name and the address were cut off. Chip whispered excitedly. "That could be, right?" "Let's see if we can find anyone else we're sure about before we try to talk to Dalton," Catherine said. "We can get back to him at the end." They headed on into the auditorium. Right inside the door, they saw a group of kids who were laughing and talking together as if they had known each other for years. They wore ripped jeans and dark sweatshirts and glared when Jonah stepped close, trying to read their name tags. What are you looking at? One of the guys jeered. Oh, Catherine giggled flirtatiously. Sorry. We're just looking for some kids we met online in an adoption chat room. We know their names, but not what they look like. And she glanced around, lowered her voice conspiratorially. Our parents don't know we visit those chat rooms. Only dorks visit chat rooms, one of the girls said, looping her arm around the jeering guy's elbow. Ugh, Jonah said. Okay, thanks anyway. We'll leave you all alone now. He pulled Catherine away. What are you doing? He asked, trying to get beat up. Oh, please, Catherine said. We have to have some cover story. That girl thought you were hitting on her boyfriend. So what? Catherine put her hands on her hips and stared defiantly at Jonah. Jonah's head swam. Didn't Catherine understand anything? What if hadn't been there to protect her? Chip tugged at Catherine's arm and Jonah's sweatshirt. Come on, you two, Chip said. Cut that out. Let's keep looking. But Mom and Dad came through the doorway just then at the front of the auditorium. A man stepped toward a podium on the stage.